Retro.
And welcome everybody to another episode of the Animanicast.
Brain's in trouble. I need to come up with a plan to make a lot of money. Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering? Oh, well, that's not what I was pondering, but that's a better idea. Let's do that. Nerve.
Welcome, everyone, once again to the Animanicast. This is, of course, the podcast that is dedicated to the animated television series Animaniacs, as well as other shows in the Rugerverse, such as Tiny Toon Adventures, Pinky and the Brain, and Freakazoid. Today, we are talking about another episode of the Animaniacs Reboot, Season 2. Yes, we're going to talk about every cultural reference and gag that we can find, or at least the ones that we want to talk about. And of course, in the end, we're going to give this episode a Water Tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me once again is my brother Nathan.
Beast Wipe Slam!
Whoa. And across the country in Georgia, it's Kelly.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hey. Well, we are here, and we're talking about, what is this? Are we on episode 3? Three of Season 2 of the Animaniacs Reboot. That's right. This episode features Rug of War, Run, Pinky Run, and the Hamburg Tickler. Yes. And if someone were to ask you, I don't know, to summarize this episode in just a few words, what would you tell them, Nathan?
European.
And Kelly, what do you think?
It reminded me of several films.
And we shall talk about those, I'm sure. Well, before we get to our discussion and everything, this episode, of course, premiered on November 5th of 2021. And so this, of course, is the time where we have to ask Nathan for our November 5th trivia theme song.
I should really think of these before. All right. It's the 11th month of the year, and it's the 5th day of that month, and we all know what that means, because it has the things of all the facts that you want to hear. It's coming at you in your ear.
Wow.
That rhymed.
Particularly good.
Everything.
It rhymed, and it had a great, meter, and yes, it was amazing.
It was on pitch. Oh,
I think I would love it if somebody were to take some of these and auto-tune them or something.
Make them sound like, not
some
bad.
Remixes. There's got to be somebody out there. The trick is actually they're like, oh, I could do it. I just don't want to. No. But Nathan, tell us what happened. Give us some November 5th facts.
Okay, so as I was saying,
that's what we should be calling it. November 5th facts.
November 5th facts.
now
Next time
we finally
I'll have
get to it. Okay,
song for that.
Okay, November 5th
nice
facts.
Rings.
That's
okay.
Okay, we're calling it that. Okay.
The November 5th facts. All right. So as I said, this was a European episode because every segment was European. So I'll give some European facts. 1916. The emperors Wilhelm II of Germany and Franz Joseph of Austria-Hungary established the Kingdom of Poland. In 1937, Adolf Hitler informs his military leaders in a secret meeting of his intentions of going to war. And in 2006, there was 2 high-voltage power lines in Germany that failed and triggered a cascade of cuts as automatic safety devices cut power of millions of customers in Germany, Belgium, France, Spain, and Italy.
Wow.
Europe.
And since you said...
And there's also Guy Fawkes Day in Europe, too.
Yes, it's true. We already mentioned that. But you did mention... was that the Kaiser Wilhelm? Was that who you were talking about there?
Maybe Wilhelm II. I don't know his first name.
Oh, there's definitely you must have been a Kaiser of some sort.
What year was that?
1916.
Oh yeah, that was Kaiser Wilhelm II.
Well, here's a Wilhelm scream for him.
Like watching Star Wars. Yeah,
he was. Yes, as we all know, he is the origin of the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah,
it's from him.
Sense.
Put it down and November 5th facts. Well, thank you so much, Nathan, for that. Let's go ahead and get to our discussion of today's episode. We're going to start off with our variable verse for today. And that, of course, was mutton is gamey.
Mutton is gamey.
And it's Wacko playing a video game with a sheep because sheep is mutton. That's the meat.
I was trying to figure out if it had anything to do with the episode, and it does not.
I never can understand what they're saying in the variable verse.
Yeah, that one was harder to hear, I think, than other ones even.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I don't even necessarily agree with the mutton being gamey necessarily, but I don't know if maybe I just have been lucky with eating lamb, and I haven't. Because isn't gamey kind of like a toughish, stringy kind of
Yeah,
meat?
I would say so. Yeah.
And I've never had that problem with, at least not that I can think of, with lamb. But
I mean, how often do you eat lamb, though?
every other day. I'm a wolf. But at any rate, it was kind of it was there. I'm not a big fan of the variable verses, at least so far. I'm sure this is only 3 episodes in. I'm sure they're going to get much better, right? Sure, why not? Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get to our first discussion of the first segment. Yeah, that makes sense.
We're going to have a second discussion of the first segment?
This is going to be the first one of it, and maybe we'll talk about it later. We'll see. This is Rug of War.
Hey, look!
And Rug of War was written by Kathleen Chen and Brian Polk, and it was directed by Eric Knutson, or Knutson. I do not know how to pronounce his last name, but I don't know. Nathan, why don't you tell us what happens here in Rug of War?
Okay. Well, the Warners are rolling down the street, literally, and they come across a $5 bill on the floor. They're trying to figure out what they could do with this $5 bill.
What should we do? See a movie?
Go to the gas station and fill our pants with freezy shakes?
Although he doesn't have pants. Dot.
I never thought about that.
I just realized that's so weird. Dot wants to just like rip it up, and take that capitalism. But Yakko has a better idea. We're going to go to we're going to see where they're auctioning off these, what are they called?
Storage
sheds.
Yeah.
Storage hunters kind of thing. So they got to, win it for $5. So they convince everyone else that something's wrong with it. Maybe it's a monkey paw situation, or maybe there's just nothing inside of it. So whatever the case, it turns out that the Warners are now the only ones bidding on it. So they bid $5 and win. And inside of it, all the treasures in the world you could enjoy, like a ergonomic office chair or a bed that looks like Vladimir Putin. There's also a magic rug, which ends up being a tapestry of the Bayeux Tapestry. Is that how you
We're
pronounce
here
it?
to view the tapestries.
Tapestries.
Tapestries? Dear me, the man is dense. This is a castle, isn't it? There are tapestries.
This is a castle, and we have many tapestries. And if you are a Scottish lord, then
I am Mickey Mouse.
How dare he?
Yakko knows what it is immediately, and he jumps inside of it.
Bio? Gesundheit.
Thanks. After you.
Oh no, I just ate. I should really wait 30 minutes before jumping into a magical carpet land.
We get a little song here about William the Conqueror.
William of Normandy on France's shore, Duke since the age of 12 and hungry for more. He made a claim upon the throne, flakier than a croissant, so his name would live forever in this fun and nifty font.
We find out that he took the throne from Harold, I think was the king that took it from Edward. There was a huge war. And Harold died and he won. It's about the gist of it. And they come out because a raccoon or a possum
Yeah.
takes a bite out of it, and that that shoots him out. So they decide that goes in the keep pile, and then all the other things, which is like a Mona Lisa painting and some other junk, they decide to sell that to the pawn shop, and they get $5 from it, and they try to figure out what to do. Maybe they can go to the Squishy Mart and fill their pants with Squishy, as Wacko wants to do, or they could destroy the. Wait a second, we did this before. This is a monkey paw situation.
Why does this keep happening to us?
Monkey's paw.
And end of segment.
Yes. Man, I hated Dot's eyes when she was doing the monkey's paw thing.
She had no eyes.
It was just
eye sockets.
Creepy.
So is a monkey paw basically like it causes things to repeat themselves?
It depends on what you wish.
I guess. I mean, the monkey's paw.
Because there was an episode of Buffy where things just kept replaying, but it was like I think it was like a mummy's paw. Or something. I was like, oh, maybe that's what it's supposed to do.
See, I'm just used to like the Twilight Zone or the.
Yeah, I think that's the monkey paw situation. It's, you have like 5 wishes and you make a wish, but it has this,
a bad effect. Like,
the consequences of that wish. You didn't wish well enough. And then,
and they did it, and they do it in The Simpsons, and a great one there too with. Everything
also,
that Homer wishes for.
Bart and Milhouse find money and go to the Squishy Mart.
So I think they just watched some Simpsons episodes before writing this episode because there was a squishy, like the whole squishy thing and the monkey paw thing.
I bet they bought a storage shed at one point in the Simpsons
there
too.
Has to be. The Simpsons did it. Simpsons have always done it. Well, I guess let's go and talk about some of the cultural references. Well, there's the Bayeux Tapestry. There's a big reference for you. I was just yes.
I had a suspicion, so I double checked on Wikipedia, but it's what they show in the beginning of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves in the opening credits.
Aha! I forgot the opening credits for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
What with that super awesome opening music by Michael Kamen? How could you?
I love that movie. That movie is so good in spite of itself because Kevin Costner as Robin Hood.
Alan Rickman.
He's so good in it. That movie is like I said, it shouldn't work because like Kevin Costner as Robin Hood, not even trying to do a British accent.
But the soundtrack's incredible.
Yeah. Everyone else is doing a great performance and it's corny 90s fun and it's great stuff.
I'll cut your heart out with a spoon.
With a spoon. But yeah, that's cool to know. Well, I noticed, there was the mattress with Putin on it. Kind of looked like the Shroud of Turin a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, kind of looks like it's kind of a thing there. And I don't know, like Nathan was mentioning Storage Wars a couple years ago. That was I have to kind of think everything back a couple years ago as to what they're referencing, what was more popular. And one of them was Storage Wars as a show. I don't even know if that show even exists anymore. But there was a time where it was kind of popular, at least on TV. And I don't know if they even do those auctions very often, but they're referencing that.
The peeing inside of a golf club is something that exists.
It definitely exist. I've seen that advertisement online, and I mean, it's helped out a lot of senior citizens out there on the golf course, I bet.
Golf bags, golf shoes, golf tees, a fake golf club you can pee into when nature makes an emergency call on the 13th hole. They're a real thing. I've seen the infomercials.
Another reason why this segment is European.
Well, at any rate, what did you do? Do you like this? This is our first time that we got, I would say, probably the first time we got a really educational, or at least a song that attempts to be really educational on this reboot. Took us a while to get there, and Dot even says, "Oh God," before it starts, which it's kind of like, no, just do it without the commentary, Dot. We want to see this stuff. What did you two think about it? Kelly, let's start with you.
I really like the animation.
It did look cool.
Yeah. And like I said, it definitely reminded me of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is always a good thing. And I I liked that it was educational. I mean, I don't know. I knew about Battle of Hastings, 1066, all that fun stuff, but maybe a lot of people don't. So definitely can learn something from that. I just wish the song were a little catchier.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the lyrics were fine. It just didn't want to make me like hum it or sing it or try to memorize it. Maybe, but it could be one of those things where, if I heard it more often, sometimes it takes a while for me to catch on to a song. But overall, I thought it was good, and it was super nice to have an educational, fun song.
All right, Nathan, what do you think?
Yeah, I was happy to hear. I learned some things because I didn't know anything about the Battle of Hastings, and now I do know some things about the Battle of Hastings.
That they went there and battled and burned things down.
Well, yeah, and they fought the guy named Harold, and Harold died.
It did make
they
me
don't
wonder.
really know how he died.
Yeah,
he either got I was like, how did he die? Because then I was like looking up, and he either got an arrow in the eye or he got hit with a sword. The actual tapestry doesn't say; they just show a guy with an arrow in the eye.
Oh, really?
And someone with a sword on him, and then Harold died. So it's like,
Wow.
which one's Harold?
Well, didn't they say they thought William had died at one point, but then he lifted his helmet and he was fine? Or
so at the very beginning of the Battle of Hastings, there was like rumors that the Duke had already died. William, but it turned out he was alive. So as his men were retreating, he's running through them with showing his face, yelling out, "I'm alive still!"
Hey, dummies,
like turn around.
Fake news.
Yeah, it's fake news. So,
oh, okay, all right.
It's lies. We need to send out that tickler.
Yeah, it's all connected. Ooh. Well, yeah, I kind of agree. I think it was nice to see this educational song. I did like how they looked. I thought they had a cool, like, kind of sewn kind of look to their characters, which was really neat to see.
I feel different. Do you?
Yeah. We've always been a little two-dimensional, but this is ridiculous.
They had a cool look to them. I did like that. And Wacko with his kind of, gosh, what was he supposed to be? What kind of mythical creature was that?
Oh, it said it in the audio description, and I forgot already.
It's like it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm forgetting what it's called. Not a sphinx, but a
griffin?
Griffin, that's what I'm trying to think of. Yes. That's what I think he was basically looking like. But at any rate, but like you said, Kelly, I just wish it was a little bit more hummable. Maybe it will be, but right now all I can think of is William the Conqueror. It just kind of peters off to nothing. And I've listened to the song about 3 times.
Okay, because I was like, yeah, I mean, the first time you hear a song, it's always going to be just like...
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. At least it was... I will give it props for at least attempting to be what we expect from the classic version of the show, which was nice to see. Not really much more to say than that, other than I did not like the monkey's paw thing. I did kind of remind me a little bit of Garage Sale of the Century, a little bit with the auction, and kind of felt like that a little bit. But
yeah, trying to get it for really cheap.
Yes, they didn't just have 27 cents or whatever it was this time, though. They had actual $5. Ooh,
yeah. Although in today's money, it's probably.
Well, let's go ahead and get to our next segment, and that is Run, Pinky, Run.
Yellow?
Pinky, it's Brain.
Hold on, let me get him for you. Brain! Phone!
And Run, Pinky, Run was written by James Putler and Brad DePrima. It was directed by Eric Knudsen. And Kelly, why don't you tell us what happens here in Run, Pinky, Run?
Okay. Well, if you are in the know, this is based off of Run, Lola, Run, which is amazing, and you have to see it.
A German movie.
Yes, that's out in film class, and I loved it. And Brain is up to one of his plans again. And so he gets in touch with these bad guys, and he's going to give them, I think, $100,000.
Yeah,
$100,000 for some component of his machine.
I was on my way to purchase an extremely rare strontium isotope to power my latest invention, a quantum continuous disruptor, when the unthinkable happened.
An elderly lady sitting next to him and grabs the bag, or at least the money out of the bag. And I'm not sure. I think it's by mistake. It doesn't seem to be deliberate, but I don't know how you grab that much money out of a bag and not realize it. So he's taken the bag to the bad guys and there's no money in it. And so then they decide to capture him and hang him up by a rope above a box with a snake in it, which is horrible. And he calls Pinky and says, Pinky, you've got to get the $100,000 or they'll feed me to the snake. And so Pinky needs a watch or something to count down because he's only got, is it 60 minutes or is it an hour? He's confused.
Oh dear, did Brain say 60 minutes or 1 hour? Oh, if only Brain invented a device so I could keep track of time.
And so he rips off a piece of another one of Brain's contraptions and puts it on his wrist like a watch and counts to 60. And then he'll count down. And then he runs through a styrofoam plate of spaghetti. And for a moment, like his head's covered like in spaghetti sauce, and it looks like red hair, which is kind of like the main character in Run Lola Run.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't know anything about Run Lola Run really, other than she had red hair and she ran. And I saw that. I was like, aha.
It's got a great soundtrack too. I think it's all like German techno music.
Yeah, well, they kind of play that right at the beginning. Actually, throughout the episode, yeah.
They do. It's amazing. So then Pinky's running down the stairs in this great animation sequence, and he encounters all sorts of issues. There's a kid riding a bike, and he's actually on his way to deliver food to the bad guys. He gets in Pinky's way, and he gets through all these obstacles and fails to get the money to Brain, and he arrives just in time to see Brain being fed to the snake.
Pinky, you made it! Pay the men. They'll give us the isotope, and we can finish building my quantum continuance disruptor.
The thing is, I didn't get the money.
What?
But I tried real hard. You see, Brain is my bestest and only friend in the whole wide world, and...
Yeah, I know how you feel.
Yeah, we're best friends too.
Does this mean you'll let me go?
Nah.
But because the bad guys have the little device in their pockets, when Pinky comes in and the clock counts down to 0, they interact with each other and it sets time backwards to when Pinky got the call from Brain. And so they go through this whole thing again. But this time things are a little different. He doesn't get the red hair this time, but I think he still runs through the plate of spaghetti. He manages to avoid the kid on the bike, changes things just a little bit. But I think in this version, I think Pinky's going to get fed to the snake.
Yeah.
They're all kind of, since it gets repetitive, it's kind of mixing up in my head. But then he goes through it again. And, he's like, this time I'm going to do, and I'm sorry, I forgot. He keeps selling juice or like lemonade. And a woman says she'll pay $100,000 for a cup, but he realizes he doesn't have cups.
Come on, Pinky. You've been a bumbling dolt all your life, but perhaps today is the day you proved me wrong.
I did it. I can't believe I did it. Lemonade!
$100,000? Seems a bit steep, but I don't care. I'm so thirsty I'd pay anything for a cup.
Cups! I forgot cups!
So then he goes to the grocery store. The guard there keeps trying to talk to him, and he keeps avoiding him. And then he sells different kinds of juice because they don't have the kind of juice that he wants. And so I don't know how many times he goes through the little juice / lemonade stand. And he doesn't know. So It's a lot. So in the final time he goes through, this time he avoids the spaghetti and runs down the stairs and goes to the store, and the security guard actually wants him to watch his truck, and he's actually a armored truck driver. And so Pinky's like, sure, but the guy didn't pull the emergency brake, so the truck runs down the hill.
You seem trustworthy. Mind watching my truck while I go grab a drink?
Fine, but I wouldn't bother going in there. They've got nothing.
Almost forgot the parking brake.
It crashes into the bad guy's hideout, and there's all the money. In fact, there's more than the $100,000. And Brain's like, okay, well, now you've got your money, so now I can get my scientific device.
Not so fast. Your friend just destroyed our hideout. Now we gotta find a new one. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Yeah, we were rent controlled. We're keeping all the money, and you get nothing.
They just kind of give up at that point.
Yeah, and then they kind of walk down the street, but Pinky has a little bit of that, I think it was strontium or something, stuff.
I can't, yeah.
The watch breaks, and, the Brain's like, oh, this is, the watch that, it reverses time and everything.
Mm-hmm. But it keeps zapping.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of goo or something of that stuff.
Pinky's hand is like attracted to it and it just keeps whacking it.
It keeps going back until the Brain takes it
smashes
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes to black. So there we go. So nice Pinky and the Brain segment. I guess, Kelly, since you're Nathan, you've never seen Run Lola Run, right?
Nope.
Kelly, is there any kind of element of Run Lola Run? I know it's about her trying to get to her boyfriend, I believe, right? Is that is there any kind of element of time travel or doing things over again, like Groundhog Day?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. I can't remember by what mechanics it happens, but it's like in one of the spoiler alert, I think in like one of the sequences her boyfriend actually dies. Like I want to say he gets hit by a truck or something, but it's been a long time since I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
I really should check it out again. And because it's actually dangerous situations. I think he's been kidnapped or he's in trouble and she's trying to save him. And so
yeah, she only has 20 minutes, I think.
Bad things keep happening, and I honestly can't remember why it keeps replaying. But yeah, it's kind of like Groundhog Day, but like it's in German, and like I said, it's got this cool techno music, and it's just one of those movies that I watch. You think, we're gonna watch a movie in film class I've never heard of. It's a foreign film. It might not be good, but no, it was amazing, and I've thought about it, every so often ever since. And it stars Franca Potente, and I think she was it the first Jason Bourne movie?
Oh yeah.
And so she's been in other films, and I remember vaguely, and this may be on YouTube, I can't recall, but there was like a Star Wars fan film thing at Dragon Con many years ago, and there was a Run Leia Run where Leia had to rescue Han, which I thought, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So it was like a parody of it, but it was Star Wars, so it elevated it. So very cool.
Well, the biggest reference I could think was, to one specific thing, which was the running down the stairs, which they showed Pinky kind of doing that, multiple times in multiple ways, which is like kind of one of the more iconic moments in the actual movie because it's animated. And and I saw it like on YouTube, and she had two different versions of it, like at least two different versions, like one where she gets down the stairs, perfectly fine. And then another version where a kid and a dog, kid trips her and she falls down the stairs or something like that.
I'm just reading on Wikipedia. I didn't know this. If I go back and seen it more recently, maybe I'd make the connection. But in the Buffy episode Beneath You, there's a pink-haired girl seen running through a German street to techno music. So I think that's probably in the 7th. Yep, that's season 7. Yep.
This is an Animaniacs / Buffy.
I love Buffy
podcast.
Yeah. Star Wars.
Star Wars. Spielberg podcast.
Well, at least Spielberg is tangentially connected.
You know what? It's all pop culture. It's all everything is tangentially related.
Spielberg to Star Wars to right.
I actually no
6 degrees of Animaniacs.
No, there was a connection I was going to make. I think it was to Bayeux Tapestry though, because there was something in Wikipedia about Tony Kushner and the Bayeux Tapestry, and I was like, oh, that connects to Steven Spielberg because he's written many of Spielberg's films, including the upcoming West Side Story. So,
well, let's talk about the stuff that we liked about in this one. Nathan, let's start with you. What are some things that you enjoyed in this second segment?
Well, first I want to point out that Wacko was a manticore, which has the head of a human, the body of a lion, and the tail of a scorpion.
As seen in the Pixar film Onward.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the manticore in that. That's right. And if you can find this out by listening to the audio descriptions of Animaniacs.
There we go. All right. Well, what about this second segment now? What did you like about it?
I enjoyed the whole time travel thing. That reminded me of, as you're saying, like a Groundhog's Day thing. I've never seen Run Lola Run, but it sounds like it's very similar to that, which is a lot of fun. Or like Live, Die, Repeat. That was a fun movie too.
Which is not the real title.
Yeah, I know. They changed the title a couple times though.
Exactly.
What is the original title now? I don't remember.
It's Tom Cruise Dies a Lot, I think is what the original version was called.
No one knew what it was.
No one knew what it was called.
They're like, we're going to rename it.
Yeah. Well, it's coming out. But I think it's like they changed the title, and then the original title is still on the DVD cover, except it's smaller. So yeah. Anyway. Oh, am I frozen?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Nathan's frozen. This is interesting.
Uh-oh.
It's really, you can't really see it right now, folks at home, but Nathan's face is frozen and he's in a state of contemplation. His eyes are, it's kind of creepy how he's frozen.
And Chewbacca's sitting behind him.
And yeah, he has a Chewbacca. It's kind of crazy. Well, we can cut him off. He'll come back in a little bit, maybe. Kelly, what did you like about this second segment? Any other moments in here? I mean, obviously Run Lola Run, but anything else you like?
Yeah. I thought it was kind of neat the way it was Pinky that had to rescue Brain, and so much rested on his little mousy shoulders.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it was nice to see Pinky as so much was riding on him to get this done, and he actually did succeed in a way, and they talk about that at the end. So it was nice for Pinky to sort of have a win, because even at the end right there where they bashed through the wall, it wasn't really Pinky's fault. It was, Pinky had no effect on, which makes me wonder, like, why didn't it just crash through the wall every single time now that I think about it? Because Pinky saying he'd watch a truck I don't think that really has an effect on it. Maybe he put extra weight on it, which then that's why it went down. So I guess it did.
Well, he didn't really watch the truck in the other versions because remember the guy kept trying to get his attention,
and because
he
did
walked
it
right
this
past
time
him.
and sat on the bumper or something, and that's why it had extra weight to go now. Okay.
Yep.
Well, at any rate, Nathan will be back here shortly. His computer died. Ugh, of course, Nathan. But let's go ahead, and while he's rebooting his system, let's go ahead and talk about the last segment here. And this is the Hamburg Tickler. And the Hamburg Tickler was written by Kathleen Chen and Brian Polk, and it was directed by Eric Knudsen once again. And let's see, in this one right here, the Hamburg Tickler, Dr. Scatchansniff comes into the water tower, and he's upset because the Warners took his phone, and they got a bunch of stuff off Amazon or something, tons of stuff. Very extravagant stuff, very expensive stuff. And he tells them, you get into bed.
Now for one of my famous bedtime symposiums. In this era of lies, we must remember there are no two versions of the truth, yeah? And the truth... Wait a minute. Is this a new bed?
Why, we don't know what you're talking about. We've always had this bed.
Okay, I give up.
But Scratch and Sniff actually sings them a song, kind of a scary bedtime story, about the Hamburg Tickler who feasts on children's lies.
Mein penchant for sweets led me through dark streets. I broke into my grandmother's bakery. I stuffed my young face with her cookies and cakes, crept back home full of sugar and shaky. At my mother's accusal that I ate a streusel, I blamed it on Fritz, our Dalmatian. I was thrilled by my lie, but she warned me that I would be punished for prevarication.
And if you children lie, they'll get their toes sucked off. And how does Dr. Scratch and Sniff know this? Well, when he was a little kid, he lied to his mom, and the Hamburg Tickler sucked his toe off. Yikes! Because he has no big toe. And the Warners get freaked out immediately, and they give all the stuff back to Dr. Scratch and Sniff. They pile it in a big pile. And then Dr. Scratch and Sniff, I don't know how he leaves the tower. Does he get kicked out? They kick him out. That's kind of mean. But good on Dr. Scratch and Sniff for being able to hold everything that they're giving him, including, let's see, there was a bunch of anvils that they bought in bulk.
It's cheaper if you buy in bulk.
Yes. And also, let's see, they had Picasso and the Queen Beatrix for the Netherlands were on there too. So they bought a lot of stuff. At any rate, they're scared because of the Hamburg Tickler. I guess they kind of see the Hamburg Tickler in Scratch and Sniff's shadow. So they really feel like it's going to happen. Anyway, they kick him out, and it turns out that the Hamburg Tickler was actually Nora in costume, and Scratch and Sniff was just lying. He was lying. His toes are perfectly fine.
The Warners actually fell for it.
They did. Hook, line, and tickler.
You see that? We got all of our stuff back, and all we had to do was tell a little white lie.
You know, I did not realize lying to children was so easy. We should do it more often.
And they laugh and say, we have all of our stuff back, which made me scratch my head because I was like, wait, that wasn't your stuff. It was just whatever.
Well,
I thought they bought it.
Yeah, the Warners bought it, but not.
Well, they bought it with their money, so it is their
stuff. I guess. Anyway,
it made me pause too.
Yeah, it made me go, but it's not your stuff. They didn't steal it from you. They bought it using your another pass on that line. Doesn't make any sense. But the more important thing is the real Hamburg Tickler was there and chases Nora and Scratchy out of the lot because they lied about that.
But they didn't because he exists.
But they lied about not getting his toes sucked off.
I guess
that was the lie.
But Nora didn't lie about that. She
the end. Okay, so it was a head scratcher kind of thing. But I was a little worried when Dr. Scratch and Sniff was in the trailer and it showed him all upset. And especially of how we saw Dr. Scratch and Sniff in the last season as this possible huge villainous character in the way they were setting it up. But I didn't see much of that in this. He kind of seems like a regular Dr. Scratch and Sniff for the most part. I mean, even like tucking him into bed and everything.
Mm-hmm. It was nice.
Yeah, it felt like, okay, this is like Dr. Scratch and Sniff as the dad. Like, cool. Like, this is what I'm used to.
Which is that's his role, is basically a father that's somewhat times annoyed by his children.
Exactly. He reins them in, but it makes his character relatable, and it's kind of sweet because it makes it human. It brings a little heart to the Warner's characters, in a weird way. So it was nice to see, and the song was fine. Not very hummable or anything at this point. The first time hearing it, but still fine. But yeah, just a little bit of head scratching at the end there, where it was like, wait, huh?
Oh no, the tickler is real!
Don't take my toes! I just got a pedicure!
but it was fine. What did you guys think about it? Nathan, let's start with you now that you're back from the void.
Oh my God, it's so scary. I recognize some of the toys that they were pretending to play with. You know,
they had a Hulk smash hands
and the hungry hippos.
Hungry hippos. That's right. I didn't mention those as cultural references, mainly because I just think they're just so obvious. It's like,
yeah, they are.
Everyone knows.
I found out that Hamburg has more bridges than any other city in Europe, with 2,500 bridges.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That means they have a ton of trolls there too, so you got to watch out.
Apparently. So yeah, it was cute, little bit slightly educational because of that one fact of the city of bridges, and I thought it was nice to see Scatchansniff back in his classic type. I guess acting like Dr. Scatchansniff. So it's good
with kind of a Krampus kind of tale to tell, which is I guess kind of like we're getting into at the time of recording this. We're getting into the Christmas season, so everybody's waiting for Krampus. Come on down the chimney.
I'm
meet
just
the
waiting
kids.
for Rudolph.
That's right.
Rudolph doesn't come down the chimney.
What are you
No,
talking
but just to come on the TV.
Oh yeah, he comes on the TV. That's true.
Kelly, was there anything in this last segment that you liked?
Well, you've already mentioned Scatchansniff. His characterization was pretty good. It's hard to pinpoint any one particular thing. I mean, I guess I like the story of the tickler. It was kind of creepy. I mean, not like the toe sucking thing, but that was weird. But and at the end when it was really real and it kind of had a cool design, and it was fine.
All right. Well,
that song was written by 9 people.
Wow. Wow. I really miss Randy Rogel. I really miss, his songs. I know he's still got some stuff, but my gosh,
he was not on the list of people that helped with that song too.
Yeah.
So it's like Randy, come back. There was a song in Run Pinky Run called Run Pinky Run.
There was, according to the.
As if you watch the credits, I guess
like
it was
stuff.
It was written and performed by Roddy Hart and Tommy Riley, who seem to write and perform some of these songs. So
they do a lot of compositions, I think, too. So I think that might have just been a composition they might have done, just the techno German.
So it's like in the Bayeux Tapestry song, it says it was performed by Jess, Tress, and Rob, and Tommy and Roddy. So I just wonder if they count musician. Like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, because William and everybody, they didn't make any. They didn't have any lines or anything.
Yeah,
right?
It seemed like it was all just.
And
Rob.
this time, maybe we could tell it was definitely more Rob.
Yeah, that was Rob singing that whole song. I could tell.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, I guess they must add also if you do guitar or something, like I don't know, it's very strange.
Perhaps it's interesting to see. I don't know. Well, that might be a question we might have to find out the answer to eventually. But at any rate, let's go ahead and get to our water tower rating. Well, out of 5 water towers, how many would you give this episode of the Animaniacs Reboot? Let's see. I think we'll start with Kelly. Kelly, why don't we start with you? How many would you give?
I will go with 4. It had an educational song, and the Lola Run parody with Pinky and the Brain was great, and that was pretty strong overall.
All right. And Nathan, what about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I liked last week's better, just for I don't know why. And I gave that one a 3, so I'll give this one a 3 as well. It's about the same, but I think, yeah, I'm just like, again, like I wanted to be funny still, but like I really did enjoy the education. Like I learned a lot, but yeah,
I got to go with 3 as well, which is higher than last week's episode for me. but because I did enjoy it because I appreciated where they were going with things. But again, I just felt like the moments, the song was great, but the moment before the song and the moment after the song wasn't great. And the Pinky and the Brain segment was nice, but I just wished it was just a little bit funnier. And you know what I mean? Like I could always nitpick, which is part of the thing I do, I know. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I'm not laughing as much as I feel like I should be. And I get where they're going, and I like the concept. Like if someone were to pitch the idea, that sounds like a great idea. But then when it's executed, it just doesn't quite work on all cylinders like I think it should be. But still not bad. Not great, but not bad. Well, let's go ahead and get to our contact information. Nathan, where can people find you online?
Oh, Joey, I'm on Twitter, DjangoFT. That's me.
All right. And Kelly, what about you?
Also on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODA, or email me, Kelly at BigShinyRobot.com.
All right. And as for the Animanicast, we're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and a few other things like, I don't know, I think there's two. I've actually put stuff on TikTok. Why? I don't know. I don't know how to use. I'm not a kid, but we have one.
You have a kid?
What? Oh my gosh.
What? We have one. And they do our TikTok for us.
Yes, indeed. But the main thing we want to also promote is, of course, our Patreon. You can get bonus audio there every week. Stuff like, bonus audio of us talk about just pop culture stuff before we start really recording. And, of course, Animaniacs Creators Commentaries with Tom Ruger and other special guests. That's right, we go through every episode of the original series with Tom, and it's been really fun to do it. And, if you're interested in watching the original show, but getting some more insight into how every episode was made, then check that out at patreon.com/Animanicast. And, of course, we're a proud member of the RetroZap Podcast Network. You can join the RetroZap Discord server over at discord.animanicast.com. That'll bring you right over there. You can talk about anything pop culture that you'd like, including Animaniacs, of course, with us. And, of course, you can go to retrozap.com to get fantastic articles and podcasts every single day. Well, that'll do it for today's episode. So for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
Pinky, I know you're lying whenever you say Zort.
That's not true, Brain.
Zort!